And gentlemen, welcome back to PoorConsult's YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about Algorand. If you are interested in this project or are wondering whether you should add this project into your portfolio or not, please make yourself comfortable, get some tea, coffee, and without losing time, let's jump right onto it. Algorand and its ALGO coin has been gaining popularity not only among crypto users, developers, but also among institutional investors as well. Today, I'm gonna bring you up to speed with everything Algorand has been up to, what the project has planned going forward, and what it might mean for Algorand's native ALGO coin. But before we start, let me tell you right away that nothing that you hear or watch in this video can be counted as a financial advice. Alright, I am not your financial advisor. If your portfolio needs help, please go find a financial advisor. Don't take my words for granted. I do mine, you do yours, and you and only you are the only person responsible for the financial actions that you make. Alright, so this video is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. Alright, with that said and out of the way, now let's jump and start talking about Algorand. Algorand was founded by Professor Silvio Micali, who is working, or at least was working, in MIT in 2017. He's famous for his contributions to cryptography, more specifically zero-knowledge proofs, if you know what I'm talking about. Algorand was built by Algorand Inc., a software company based in the United States of America, and is operated by Algorand Foundation, which is a non-profit organization aimed to develop Algorand and is based in Singapore. Algorand main network went live in May 2019 after raising over $126 million from various VC funding rounds in 2018 and an ICO in 2019. It uses a novel proof-of-stake consensus mechanism called pure proof-of-stake, which aims to solve famous blockchain trilemma. And if you know about this blockchain trilemma, is that the security, speed, and decentralization cannot be achieved at the same time within one project, right? So those projects that are scalable, which means they have very high speed and are decentralized, then they lack security. If they are a little bit slow, then they are more secure and probably decentralized. But these three targets are very difficult, and a lot of projects are aiming to solve this trilemma to achieve these three targets at the same time. So this is what Algorand is trying to solve as well. And the trilemma problem is not only in crypto space, but in finance and economics. You also probably, if you are from financial or economic background, you have known these trilemma problems exist there as well. The monetary independence, which is the ability of central bank to conduct its monetary policy, contractionary or expansionary monetary policies independently, the financial openness, and by saying so we mean the free capital flow within borders, I mean cross borders capital flow, and the exchange rate stability, meaning the exchange rate pegs the stable exchange rate, such as when the central bank pegs its local currency to the other foreign exchanges. Okay, so these three at the same time isn't possible in finance to achieve. For example, like if we take US, then US is lacking this exchange rate stability. All right, the US dollar is a floating rate. It might be a dirty float, but it's not stable. However, it has the monetary independence and financial openness, meaning the open free capital flow. For example, in China, you have exchange rate stability, you have monetary independence. Central bank can conduct monetary policy independently. However, it lacks the financial openness. So those of you who have done business or have been in China know all those financial restrictions the government and central bank imposes on the financial markets. So this kind of trilemma is very important in the financial sector as well, and is related to cryptocurrencies also, because macro does affect crypto and the entire markets. Algorand only has around 120 relay nodes, and this somewhat centralized setup allows Algorand to process more than 1,000 transactions per second. ALGO is Algorand's native coin. It is used to pay for transaction fees, governance, and staking. It has a max supply of 10 billion. Algorand's ecosystem can be accessed using the ParaAlgo mobile wallet, MyAlgo wallet, and ALGO Signer browser extension wallet. Currently, there are around 300 projects being built on Algorand. Around 10 of these apps are DeFi protocols, which currently hold around 238 million USD total value locked, according to DeFi Llama. Now let's cover the updates of Algorand and see all the new partnerships and developments in the ecosystem. On October 5, 2021, ALGO has announced the end of accelerated vesting program that previously had made it possible for early investors to sell their ALGO bags during pumps, suppressing the price action and not letting ALGO token price to appreciate in value relative to other coins. So this news definitely made ALGO holders much happier when it came out. At the end of the last year, Algorand partnered with the city of Miami to monitor air quality. At about the same time, Borderless Capital launched $500 million USD fund for Algorand projects. $500 million USD fund, guys, think about it. Earlier this year, Grayscale revealed that it was considering the creation of Algorand Trust, which will make Algo more accessible to institutional investors. In February this year, a former JP Morgan executive, Stacey Warden, has been appointed to become Algorand's CEO. In mid-March, a famous former peer-to-peer music platform, LimeWire, selected Algorand blockchain for relaunch of its digital collectibles marketplace. So it's gonna become an NFT marketplace operating on Algorand. A project called Algorand Name Service, which is aiming to make it possible to create human-readable NFTs which can stand as wallet addresses, has received a grant from Algorand Foundation. Another project that also received a grant from Algorand Foundation was Algo Launch, which is an initial DEX offering launchpad for other applications at upcoming Algorand projects. In the mid-March, Grayscale launched Smart Contract Fund for Ethereum competitors that included Algorand in it. However, if we see, Algorand's portion was relatively small, around slightly more than 4%. The biggest in there was Cardano ADA of more than 24%. At the end of April, Algorand partnered with Flare Network to create additional bridges to other cryptocurrency blockchains. In the beginning of May, Algorand announced it will be sponsoring the upcoming FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The amount hasn't been disclosed yet, but you can imagine how big this amount might be. This may also turn into a long-term partnership between FIFA and Algorand, implying issuance of FIFA NFTs on Algorand blockchain someday in the future. Fingers crossed. Earlier this year, its head of ecosystem said that Algorand Foundation is planning on spending 500 million USD to expand Algorand's ecosystem. The crypto markets have been taking a beating since November, and as many of you may know, this is because the Fed's fight with inflation, which includes raise of interest rates. Due to severe macroeconomic conditions, the Federal Reserve System of the United States of America had no choice but to start hiking the rates, implying the contractionary monetary policy, sucking out the liquidity of the economy, which in turn had caused the crypto markets as well as the traditional markets, the stock markets, the bond markets, everything to collapse, if we can call it that way. And obviously it is a collapse. If you take a look at the charts, you will see where Algo is trading nowadays, together with other altcoins, and Bitcoin itself as well had a huge dump within this period of time starting from November. Markets were in a free fall after Terra Lunas and UST algorithmic stablecoins debacle. Unfortunately, there are additional factors specific to Algorand that are holding down Algo's price as well. And this is very important, because if it was only due to the systematic factors, the systematic risk, the macro factors, then it wouldn't have an issue at all, because the macro is now bad, one day is gonna get better. However, there are really some Algorand specific factors that is holding down Algo's price as well. And now let's talk about it a bit more. Accelerating vesting has historically suppressed its price, allowing earlier investors to sell Algo when its price was pumping. This is why Algo only briefly surpassed its ICO price of 2.4 cents before being beaten down. Although accelerated vesting has ended last year, structured selling from Algorand Foundation seems to have continued, and I suspect Algorand has been offloading some of its algos as well. I wanted to find out exactly how much algo the Algorand Foundation has sold since September, but unfortunately it looks like they haven't published any transparency reports yet. What I did find, however, is that Algo's circulating supply has increased significantly, alright? It has increased significantly according to CoinGecko. So if we take the approximate amount of supply increase since the start of a year, which is around 1 billion Algo, and assume the mid price of Algo to be $1 during that time, it's just a average assumption, alright? Then it's possible that around $1 billion of Algo has been sold since September last year. Taking into account the amount of money Algorand Foundation has been spending on expansion of Algorand's ecosystem, this makes sense. For example, recently Algorand Foundation launched 300 million USD fund to support DeFi innovation. All the sponsorships and acquisitions Algorand made were definitely not cheap either. As basic economics dictates, all this algo selling wouldn't be a problem if there was sufficient demand for algo coming from elsewhere, but it seems like algo was lacking that demand. Algo Signer, the browser extension, has just 20,000 downloads. The Para wallet Algo wallet is still sitting at 100k downloads, which suggests Algorand blockchain has fewer than 100,000 active users. The last demand indicator worth discussing is total value locked, which is 230 million on. The last demand indicator worth discussing is total value locked, which is 230 million only. Also, I find it hard to believe that all this money is coming from few thousand users of Algo's DeFi protocols. I suspect much of this money is coming from Algorand Foundation's liquidity incentive fund, which has allocated 200 million USD worth of Algo to attracting total value locked. As such, it's possible that most of the total value locked is just here to passively collect Algo's rewards. It's quite possible that all this TVL on Algorand is coming from some Algo whales, alright? It's possible. As such, whether Algo can reclaim its all-time high and head to new ones ultimately depends on its upcoming milestones, as for any other project, right? One of the concerns is lack of user adoption. Almost all smart contract projects has seen exponential growth in their user base in the last few months alone. But this is not as apparent on Algorand, and this might be due to Algorand's wallets that people use to interact with Algo's applications, which aren't as familiar or as user-friendly as MetaMask, for example, that people use to interact with Ethereum-based decentralized applications. It also doesn't help that Algo's price has consistently underperformed, and that ties into the second concern I have. Algorand's tokenomics still aren't all that terrific, and it seems that the end of the accelerated vesting for Algo's early investors hasn't helped with Algo's price action at all. To make things worse, supply continues to hit the market. In fact, in a January presentation, Algo Foundation's former CEO Sean Lee actually celebrated the fact that Algo's supply has increased from 1.4 billion to over 6.3 billion in 2021 alone. Hard to believe it, I do agree with you. Again, all of this selling wouldn't be an issue if it was sufficient demand. if there was this demand, right guys? But there isn't, unfortunately. So the demand can't currently catch up with supply. So with all this being said, I do really continue liking this project. I do really think that this project might have a really very good future, considering where it was created, in what country, what type of people are backing this project, what type of institutions are investing in this project. And if you are considering, of course, nothing is a financial advice, let me say it right away, but if you are considering, if I were you and I was to consider whether to invest in this project or not, I would say that, just my thoughts, right? I would say that it will be good to invest in the project if you are not trying to achieve any significant results within 2, 3, 4 years, right? I mean, 2, 3 at least years, definitely. If you are trying for to earn, to see the capital appreciation, the capital gains within a year or two, I don't think this project is the best option you have among all other altcoins currently available for you to invest in. However, the fundamentals of the project are really strong, and for 5+ years investment, such a long-term investment, this project definitely has a future, and it definitely, I am sure, will grow, will become much more useful with its user base, with its functionalities. And in that case, the ALGO token, even if facing some supply side pressure and selling pressure nowadays, the price will definitely, as to me, easily 5x, 10x, or even more. But I won't bet on it for the upcoming year or two, considering that we are still in a bear market. And for the short-term portfolio, I wouldn't add this project in my short-term portfolio for sure. For the long-term portfolio, if I had one, definitely this is a grab and go project. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. That's all for today. I wanted to tell you about Algorand. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you have some ideas, please feel free to leave comments. I would love to read those comments and discuss with you all the ideas that you might have related to these projects and its future. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you all in the next video. Goodbye.